Tony Khan must be an extremely happy man right now. AEW Double or Nothing may be happening later this month, but AEW Collision has doubled its rating from last week to this week. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. You want to talk about a ratings boost? You want to talk about good numbers? Here's good numbers for you. In the space of 1 week, Collision's ratings have doubled. They've actually went up 100%, actually slightly more than doubled ahead of this pay-per-view Double or Nothing. Now, we will get into it in a minute, and is it purely down to AEW Collision? No. Some people would argue it's not even down to AEW at all, but they were on during, or should I say, alongside the basketball. So they had the feed-in of the basketball. We had the Clippers. I believe it was the Clippers versus the Denver Nuggets. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. No, I'm right, actually. So let's just talk about the numbers straight off. So you had the Nuggets versus the Clippers game. It was an NBF playoff, which was the lead-in to Collision. This averaged 3.387 million viewers and had a 1.12 key demo rating. Now, the basketball, I believe, finished about 11 minutes early, and then AEW came on. So AEW Collision, instead of starting at 9, it started at 8:49 to 10:49. So it was a preempted airing. But whatever, it is what it is. They need all the help they can get, and they certainly got help this week, because for the Saturday, April 26th edition, from 8:49 to 10:49, AEW Collision drew 707,000 viewers, making it one of the most watched AEW Collisions of all time. I believe, as things stand right now, it is the 4th highest rated Collision ever, and it is the 2nd highest preempted airing of Collision ever. Now, in the key demo, it did a 0.21. So it could be the 4th highest. It might actually be the 4th highest, to be honest. But I know there was another preempted airing that did really well. It's either the 3rd or the 4th highest Collision of all time, which is still impressive from them. So last week they did 353,000, and like I said, this week they're doing 707,000. So just more than double, which is mental. Last week they did a 0.08 in the key demo, and this week they did a 0.21. So they've more than doubled. That's 162% more in the key demo. Absolutely massive ratings here for AEW Collision. Insane. Insane numbers. Now, again, like we said, it's not all down to Collision. They had the benefit of that NBA playoff game. But still, you need to take advantage of that, and it's a solid number. Tony Khan's not going to be crying himself to sleep tonight. These are good numbers, and you never know. Okay, you never know. Maybe they will have gained some new fans. Maybe the people watch the basketball. The basketball will finish. AEW will come on, and if Tony Khan's smart, he will have put something good on in the opening segment, and you try and create a new fan. That's how it works. When you've got these big lead-ins, when you have these big shows and you're getting a big audience tuning in to your show, then you need to try and give them something that is going to make them go, wow, I want to watch this show. What is this show? I need to check this show out again. You don't have a shitey match. You can't do like Commander versus, I don't know, Pac, the bastard Pac. You don't do that shit. Do something interesting, man. And whether Tony Khan done that or not, I'm not too sure, because I didn't watch Collision. But if we look at it, this will put AEW Collision. This is just over 700k, and it looks like Collision's only had 2 shows above 700k. Now, I know they had another preempted show that was close to 700, but as things stand right now, this looks like it is the 3rd highest Collision rating of all time. Which I said is good for AEW. And, I mean, you just can see across the board, though, the numbers for Collision haven't been great. The only thing I would argue is for Collision is I haven't noticed that much of a drop-off. Now, you could argue that it is slightly down. Obviously, it didn't. June, February, March, April, May, June, those months we don't have data for 2023 because this show didn't air until mid-June 2023. But if you look at the numbers that it is doing now in 2025 compared to what it was doing in 2024, I mean, most weeks, if you look at it week to week, it is down. But it's not massively down, you know. It doesn't look like there's a huge loss there in numbers. Although I would argue that the smaller the number, obviously, the harder it is to lose a bigger amount of it. So you got to factor that in as well. I mean, across the board, it is down. Look, 2024 is down on 2023, and there is a chance that maybe 2025 will be down on 2024 when we get into the summer months and then we get into autumn. But yeah, we don't know. Maybe. I mean, Tony Khan, AEW, they seem to be doing slightly better now in terms of quality and television product that they're putting on right now. Maybe we will see 2025, the ratings might actually go above what they were doing in 2024. I mean, if you look at it, heading into like September, October, November, those ratings are really poor. You know, some weeks are just above 300k, other weeks are under 300k. It's not really a high target to aim for. You know, you look at that and you're thinking, well, maybe they can beat it. You know, maybe Tony can, maybe Collision, maybe they can get the job done. So yeah, over 707k this week. It's a good number. We'll see what they do next week. Obviously, it's going to absolutely tank again because that's just how AEW Collision work. You know, sometimes you get a big number because of a lead-in from the basketball, but the reality is next week you go back to normal. But hopefully, for their sake, they will have gained some fans. And like I said, I think that's what Tony Khan needs to do. If you've got a big lead-in and you know that you're going to have millions of people watching something, and then your show's going to come on, you got to do something exciting. I mean, you've got to start the show with something good. And, I mean, I don't know what it is, but you can't start it with fucking wrestling. I don't know, you have a cool-looking guy, or, you know, you have a hot-looking chick, or you do something like crazy sort of backstage scene or segment, or, you know, have like a hit and run or something. There's loads of shit you can do, but you don't want to start the show and go straight into a wrestling match. That is for sure. But let's look at the clips then. We'll see which had the highest views for this week. Coming in first place, we have Kenny Omega comes to the aid of Swerve Strickland. This got 306k. The only real clip this week that did anything worth talking about, to be honest, 306,000. I'm looking at these numbers and they're very disappointing, actually. Just got to point that out there. They're really bad. Second place, we had FTR versus Paragons, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong in the rubber match. The rubber match that absolutely, I guarantee you, nobody gave a shit about. So, yeah. Just FTR. You know what? Maybe that's one way to get the ratings automatically up on Collision. Get rid of fucking FTR. Those guys absolutely suck. Those guys are ratings killers. Maybe that's what it stands for. Fuck the ratings, because those guys, that's what they do every single week when they appear on TV. Third place, Toni Storm versus Queen Aminata in a championship eliminator. That got 118k. And that was it. You know, that was the only three things that did above 100k, which is pretty dire when you consider that these clips were uploaded over 4 days ago and only 3 of them are getting 100,000. So just not a lot of people with much interest in this show. In fourth place with Anna Jay returning, but will Megan Bayne make her bow down? That got 91k. And then after that, man, it really is slim pickings. Fifth place, we had Bandido puts the Ring of Honor World title on the line against Dragalistico. Nobody cares about that, honestly. Trust me, 58k. Stick a mask on a couple of guys and get them to do flips. That doesn't draw nothing. Nobody gives a fuck. These guys aren't Rey Mysterio. This isn't the Cruiserweight division in WCW. This isn't even the WWE Cruiserweight division in like the early 2000s, mid-2000s. This is shit. Nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. Sixth place with a wild tornado tag match between the CRU and Top Flight. Don't even know who the CRU are, but good for them. They got 51k. Everything else then under 51,000, including LFI's Rush versus AR Fox. Big Bill and Brian Keefe are hungry for a challenge. Hologram is too much for the best wrestler alive, Max Caster. Cracks appear between Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. God. And does Samoa Joe have AEW World Champion Jon Moxley figured out? Well, he's not got the wrestling business figured out. He's not got the numbers figured out, because 49,000, abysmal, absolutely abysmal. I mean, I'm just looking at this show, and it's just, what reason is there to watch this? You know, I just don't see anything that appeals, and it's nothing sticking out. Going, wow, you know, this was must watch. You know, this is something that you should be tuning in on a Saturday night for. I'm looking at this Collision, and there's just nothing interesting on it. So, you know, it's all crap, isn't it? It's all just people talking backstage or a wrestling match. What actually happened to fucking fun things back in the day, you know, when you had all these, like, fun interactions, like affairs and shit, and mystery things going on, or, you know, or hit and runs, or, you know, just, you know, stuff, or fucking sexy women. Like, what happened, man? I don't know. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what the hell went wrong with professional wrestling? Anyway, that's it, guys. There's your Collision numbers. Over 700k. Good for them. Next week, they'll probably be at 350. They'll probably lose, you know, half that audience, but whatever. Tony Khan, give us a better Collision. I can't believe they got a 700k rating for this show. I mean, it's just I say a bang average. It's an awful. Just looking at those clips, it looked awful. So yeah. This is proof that ratings don't always mean good show, because this show looked absolutely shite. Till next time, peace.